back to the live stream with me, the philosopher, and Jack.
What's up?
So, we got another song for you. It's called Disobey.
Mm-hmm.
If you've been following my work at all, you'll see that we say that a lot. And what do we mean, by disobey? Is it like disobey all the rules? No, it's disobey these mask mandates, these shutdowns, all these violations on my individual body and property rights. That's what we're up against. So anyway, we have a campaign out. We recorded the song. We're actually still in the same. You can see COVID control, oppress, victimize, isolate, and divide. That's literally what's happened. I haven't seen my family in years.
Right.
And I think there's a lot of people who have that same story,
Absolutely.
So, yeah. Welcome to the stream.
Hey, what's up, Craig?
Jesse, welcome. So good to
what's
see
up,
you,
Jesse?
Jesse B.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, look at that picture from
and he's got the picture, yeah.
Oh, the first spa events. And you were there. You made it so cool.
Yeah, seriously, thank you.
We only have pineapple pizza, no pepperoni.
Hey, what's up, Brett?
Oh, hey, Brett.
How's it going, Michael?
Like your picture.
Saying
hey,
hi, what's
Michael.
up? Anthony, how's it going?
Oh,
if you're on like a personal page or something like that, you might not be able to have comments shown. So just go to the YouTube link, go to the Philosopher YouTube page if you want to comment and you're not being shown up right now.
Yeah.
So, hey, Jesse B says, yes, glad I made it off the water. I thought I saw that mistook flying behind you guys. That's funny.
That's funny. Oh, you were in the water. I see.
Yeah, when we were on the water. Remember kayaking?
Oh,
yeah, it was kayaking.
Y'all made it off. I know, and there was a storm. We actually beat the storm that day. That was so interesting. I've never done that, and oddly, we had some service.
Yeah, we were able to navigate the waters and enjoy it before there was some crazy torrential rains. Fortunately, we weren't in the path of that big hurricane that affected Louisiana, but
yeah, that's sad.
Yeah, sad for those people. And I heard even Project Veritas, that one of their satellites where they have an office got destroyed. So I was like, oh, that's pretty crazy.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Wasn't it as bad as Katrina or something
I don't know exactly what the numbers are yet.
That category or something.
It might be. Definitely was
category
high category and
3.
I think it was maybe a 4. I didn't follow up and see what it made at landfall, but I know it was supposed to be a 4. But maybe someone can tell us in the comments what it was. So
I just want to say we live in anarchy now. I don't know what you want to say, but this is anarchy. You can't control other people, right?
Well, I mean, it's certainly anarchy in the sense of that. Ultimately, you're free to choose whatever it is you want to do with your life. There could be consequences, but there's still, of course, statism in terms of groups of people acting with the psychology that they have the right to own you and then using violent force.
Yeah.
So
I just mean a lot of people think of anarchy as oh, there's warlords everywhere. I'm like, what do we have now? There's literally warlords everywhere.
Right.
There's the warlord in Michigan and New York City specifically for some reason, and LA,
Right.
So yeah, welcome.
Well, welcome everybody. Yeah, glad to see everybody here, commenting, saying hi. And I'm exhausted because we did just do that song today.
Did.
Seriously,
you should listen to it.
We're gonna be listening to it in just a few minutes. We literally, just we work on that all day. We went hard.
We went hard.
Yeah.
So hard.
Very hard. We actually, we went to the gym, of course, first. We got take care of knees and stuff like that, feel good. But then once we got that exercise in, so we we're mentally prepared for the studio, straight to studio. And then it was just pounding out that song.
Okay, here, you know what?
Yeah, we should.
Florida man, cheers to Jesse Meeks.
Yeah, cheers to Jesse.
And for you coming out to the first spa events. That was awesome.
Yeah, this is cheers to Jesse Meek with that great
You made
picture.
Everyone have such a good time, especially at the range. We were like, whoa, wow.
Yeah. I mean, anytime, especially with ammo prices, when you're able to shoot guns and someone brings guns and they have ammo and they give you some ammo too, I mean, that literally makes, their year or maybe decade.
I know.
So
I'm like, this is gold to me. This is
thank you.
Better than gold and silver.
Cheers to that.
Cheers.
So we're going to be, and for those who are also fans, This is the pineapple version because, as you
the
know,
White Claw.
I do like pineapple on my pizza as well. Sorry.
Oh,
Whoever that
I see
offends.
the theme. I see the theme. Could you
So.
open this?
Yeah. So, and now I have the Florida man.
Hey, a trigger finger
that's
is
Cigar
very
City
different
Brewing.
from opening cans. Okay. Jesse, I'm blushing. LOL.
There you go.
That's so cool.
All right. So Jesse's blushing, but this is a cheers to Jesse Meek. So thank you.
Cheers. Okay, a little sip. And that's all I need, folks.
Yeah.
That's all she wrote. All right. All right. What else is new? Someone said, I'm here from Australia. Aussie land, the land down under.
Yeah, I know. Australia's
really?
crazy.
Are you being monitored right now as we speak? Like, I don't know. I'm worried for you. Maybe you should.
Are they asking for your selfie right now? They're like, oh, we need a picture from you right now.
Wrong.
It's really scary. I mean, we're making light of it, but in reality, it's actually really sick.
Signal. I don't know. A VPN, something.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Push it in that direction. Like, anonymous software, ways to just connect with your peers and your family and friends without permission, right? Without someone snooping on your conversation. Because you really, I mean, it's just a digital space, right? So if you can find a way to build your own quote property in the digital world, that's what you do with software. You can actually like build a new world, essentially, away from these centralized systems. And it's quite an interesting time we live in. It's transformative. Like, we're in the transition now, and for better, for worse, you could say. And there's people of all kinds, right, pushing their idea of the world onto others. I mean, in a sense, we're doing that, but just not coercively. We're just using persuasion. But everyone technically wants a certain way for the world to be. And usually you're going to try to convince your family and friends of that. Whatever your worldview is, whether it's like, I'm an eco-fascist and I want to like make sure you never drive a gas car ever again. And we're gonna like just instead use all that energy to create electric cars. So, but like, yeah. I just think it's anyway.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think that it's going to take more than just trying to use like things that are not monitored by the government. The government's using direct violence against people and is actually going to people's homes and things like that. So it's not really something you can kind of ignore in Australia. And they're using, forcible measures to put people into quarantine facilities. And they try to go and say, oh, no, look, see, it's like a resort. But it's nonsense because it's like, yeah, like literally that happened in Germany, too. Like they put people into like nice areas where they're, internment camps, stuff like that, and they like showcase it. Or the North Koreans do that, the Chinese do that with the
but now you're in like
camps.
their playpen. I would hate that. That's literally a prison. They could be like, look, we gotta get you another jab, look, it's time for your quarterly shot, and I mean, I'm not going in there. I'm not going to these kinds of camps.
Well, yeah, obviously,
and
but I mean, if you try to leave, that's the big issue.
But I get your point. You're saying that for them, it's real. It's in their face right now, right?
Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean, not just in their face, but I mean, when the propaganda campaigns they have tries to make it seem like it's benign, I try to remind people to say, yeah, that looks nice at first. But what happens if you try to leave, right? That's where it becomes clear. It's like, wait a second. Yeah. Oh, so you're in the nice quarantine camp, right? Oh, you're just at a positive test. Nothing to do with symptoms or anything. Oh, just positive test. Okay, yeah. What happens if you try to be like, yeah, I'm not sick. It's been 3 days. I'm not doing, oh, I want to leave and just go home. Okay, well, they're going to use police to physically attack you. And if you resist them, obviously they're going to beat you or possibly even kill you in order to enforce their quarantine under this guise of safety. So
that reminds me of this tweet I saw from, it was an account 9 News Sydney. And it was like, breaking from September 13, NSW residents that are fully vaccinated against COVID-19 will be given new freedoms.
New freedom.
Look at like that language. Like, it's so, like, it just sounds like you're in a prison, literally. Like, if you follow our demands, you'll be given freedoms, right? And like a lot of people who responded, which I appreciated their comments, was like, no, I have these rights. You don't just like give them to me. They're not granted by government. They're not granted by somebody else. You either have them or you don't. Like morality doesn't change just because of who's in charge, the authority,
Right.
And then it says residents of hotspots can leave home for an hour of recreation, literally school, public school. Do you remember that? Oh my God, it's finally time for recess. 1 hour to finally hang with my
An
friends
hour. I
and
got
talk.
like 30 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, lucky.
The small window.
That's a good point.
School.
They're literally using the exact same type of control tactics and mechanisms that you see with public
and
school,
in prisons,
where you're controlled most
which
of the
is
day.
the same thing. It's
right.
the same
and
thing, folks. I'm sorry to tell you. It's just a little more glamorized, the public schools, but it's just like, right, you have a little more freedom. It's just a higher freedom prison, and that's what they're creating in this world. And they're creating these separate classes of people who can have different types of freedoms and rights.
Yeah, it's a social credit system, but through the lens of medical tyranny, right?
Exactly.
It's a type of social credit system where it's how much do you obey whatever the government says that you need to do for your health and safety, which of course has nothing to do with health and safety. Has everything to do with just these. I mean, seriously,
it looks so insane. Like, can you hold this up?
Let me see if I can show it.
Just ask you to do things.
You can't show it.
Oh, okay. But yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's something
and they
that
can only
we
meet
have to
with
fight back
5
against.
others outdoors. That's it. 5 others. So even if you're fully vaccinated, you still can only leave home for an hour of recreation.
Right.
on top of their exercise hour. Well, people in other areas can meet 5 others outdoors. Like, it literally is like the British Crown, like, kind of level of sound. It's just like, I decree that I rule you, but in this like fancy, soft, pleasant, British accent, but they're actually like extremely violent. And it's insane. It reminds me of Hong Kong. There's so many protests around the world, and in France it's getting really real out there for a lot of people.
It is.
So,
and as Daniel through biblical anarchy says, but without public schools, who will intellectually cripple the children. I mean, well, that's what it is like, right?
That.
I would say the psychological operation is essentially that. It's infantilism, which is the idea that the government is turning adults who are independent, have homes, have jobs, have the capacity to reason and choose their risks, into essentially children with the parent being the state as their ward, and saying, oh, you have no rights whatsoever, you only have permissions based on good behavior. It is very dystopian, and a great comparison to what the compulsory schooling model is already.
Yeah.
Just for like a reminder, because
and incentivizing snitching on your neighbors and friends. That's what they do in North Korea. They're like, hey, be eyes of the state. Look, report any weird behavior. Someone's not wearing their mask. Someone's not social distancing. Someone's meeting for more than an hour of their allotted time outside, or with 6 people, 7. Or they have a wedding, God forbid they have a wedding or like a funeral. It's it's literally like a fight for your life. And to me, I think about it like this. I think you have to my knowledge, I don't know, right? I don't know until I get there, but to my knowledge, we only have this one life, this unique random chance that our specific parents got together at a certain time, and you're the age that you are, and you have the genetics that you do, and like from the movement of so many people, like it's just I forgot my point. I'm tired.
No, it's okay.
Oh, I remember. But it's just like, to me, it's kind of like, I don't know, right? I don't know, but it seems almost random. I don't have any understanding, because I have no memory of being alive before I was born. And I don't even remember when I was born. I only got conscious memory around like 3, and it's fuzzy. And then I finally got more around like 6, 7. Then it was like, okay, now it's right. I can kind of remember now from after that, and I think that that's scarce. And I don't know when I'm going to die, or somebody's going to die. What if you get in a car accident? What if someone breaks in your house? I don't know. It's possible. Or you could die of old age one day, and you don't know if there is a heaven after that. So why let these people like dictate what could very well be? At least you can say it's possible, right? I don't know if it's true, but at least you could say it's possible that this could be your only life. So why let someone take that away from you? And that's what I focus on. Like, it's very real. This is your literal life. And are you just going to let someone tell you what to do and be so irrational around you, tell you to wear a mask when you know you're not sick, right? Like, when you're sick. You know when you're feeling weird. At least I do, like a lot of people do. They know when they're not feeling
Or it could
well.
be pre-symptomatic, but generally speaking, you know what I mean? If you're otherwise not having symptoms, you're typically not spreading things.
Yeah.
Right.
And then the other part is just the fact that, look, if you're scared, it's called personal protective equipment, right? So you get the best mask, get the best mask that you can find that actually protects you, and wear that and be free to do that. And actually, people shouldn't be
I'd
persecuted
rather
for
just say
wanting to
fuck the
wear a
mask
mask.
order.
That's a mask order, but I'm just saying, if someone legit is like, I have like immunocompromised,
You should
I
be
really
free
can't,
to choose your risks and stuff like that. Of course, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm
But
just
right
saying,
now,
don't
like,
impose it on
the thing
me
we're focusing on right now that
and
is
treat me
so
like,
important is trying to push back against this tyranny, and that's why we made this song, to try to inspire that cultural pushback against all these shutdowns and lockdowns and horrific abuses of children and young people, especially, who are losing their precious lives, where
Yeah,
you
all
don't
the
get that back.
babies.
You're not getting your childhood back.
Right.
You're not getting your second chance at your teens. Like, they're losing this like very special time where they
Yep.
have to make friends and make good memories and travel and explore, and it's all being stripped away from them. And that's why we're just so passionate about it, and we decide to make this new song to say, no, yeah, this is ridiculous. It's time to say, screw all these lockdowns, shutdowns, mass mandates, and things like that. The time to change other people's minds is now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the people that they're targeting, right, are perfectly healthy people. And like you said, young kids, especially. Like, it breaks my heart seeing kindergarteners wearing a mask, a 2-year-old wearing a mask. Why are you wearing a mask? You like, that child should get as much oxygen as they can.
Well, I mean, the thing when it comes to children is that the data in the CDC, even by their own standards, which again is just their horrible reporting system, which has no nuance for the level of symptoms that someone has or the error rate of the test, administered. Even by that very flimsy standard, young people are 150 times more likely to die by any other means than by this specific pathogen. And that's, in your 0 to 17 bracket. And then, of course, it's just about as ridiculously high for those who are healthy otherwise in their 20s, 30s, and so forth. So, this is something that is being pushed onto people under a complete lie that there's no stratified risk whatsoever, and that you're some dangerous evil super spreader and stuff like that, when in reality it's
that
has
no basis in reality. Exactly.
Right.
They're treating you like you're a virus when you're not.
Right.
Like, I was just looking, you can see, like, on Instagram, on different channels and stuff, the top videos are old videos. It's like people are craving 2019, like literally right before 2020 happened, when people were crowded around. Nobody thought about it, just like living their lives. Maybe some people got sick. Okay, they stayed home, but like, there's not a mass epidemic like they're making it seem like. They're making it trying to seem like, okay, everyone's going to die. Like, literally 8 out of 10 people. Like, they put it on the TV to make people that scared that they literally treat everyone they come in contact with as literally already having corona. And so they like wear gloves, the same gloves all day, the same gross cloth mask all day. And they're like, oh, and they're just scared like the whole time. And they're just like living like that, paying their taxes, feeding the state,
Yeah, I mean, and I think it's pretty clear at this point. I think that's why there's been so much support of what we're doing and what we did with Mask Order, and as we've seen with the articles we've written, which you can check out too on your website, theflosser.com. We put together a number of articles that detail the specific ways that those in the state have manipulated the data, or framed the data inappropriately, or have outright lied, or being straight up murdered people through the policies that were implemented by hiding treatments to the hospital protocols that were used. I mean, it's
talk
pretty
about
disgusting.
misinformation.
Right.
They perpetuate the very thing they declare wars on.
Yeah. And Daniel here says the state's more likely to kill you than the unmentionable contraction. So can we pass mandated state shutdowns?
Yeah.
So, I mean, right. It's like the state is what should be shut
Cheers,
down.
Daniel.
Cheers
Thank
to that.
you.
Yeah. Cheers to that. The state is what should be shut down in that regard, because they're the ones who actually, by and large, prevented all of the market solutions and discussions that would have nipped what was a government created problem in the first place. If you know what happened in the US with the NIH funding and then went to Wuhan, if you know what that happened, then
function research.
Yeah, you know that this is a government problem.
We did not do gain of function research, Rand Paul.
Yeah, it was really funny.
So obvious that he was lying. know?
Yeah, when Fauci was testifying with Rand, like his main framing, the way if you notice the nuance of language, he wasn't saying that they didn't do it. He just was saying, no. The medical community, we didn't consider this to be gain of function, right? He's not trying to pretend they didn't. Right. He's not denying that they funded research with bats
research,
and
but it wasn't
virus.
We didn't think it was gain of function. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like saying we killed that guy. We literally sliced his neck, but we didn't think about it as murder. Right. It's just such a twist of language. It's double speak. It's just such just speaking lies.
Right.
But they say it in as best a smooth way as they can, as slick Obama way as they can, just to it's almost like hypnotizing, right? If you're not somebody who thinks with philosophy, if you're somebody who's vulnerable, maybe you come from a crappy home life, right? So you're pretty vulnerable, right, to being manipulated. You might have a lot of unmet needs. Not speaking from experience at all. And but yeah, and those kinds of people are more likely to be okay, something that gives me purpose. Okay, I'm gonna join the military. I'm gonna be a police. I'm gonna be an order follower. Okay, that gives me purpose. Okay, wear your mask. They embody this thing that gives them a sense of purpose that they may not have had in life prior to that. And I think that's what the state predicates itself on. And there's a lot of war created and pushed by the state, which breeds a lot of violence in families. I can definitely speak to that, coming from my family, coming from Vietnam and fleeing Cambodia, the Khmer Rouge, fleeing war in China, my grandma when she was young, and finally fleeing Vietnam, and it's horrifying that I can just see it play out, that you create in people a sense of PTSD, and how they can handle it is maybe they use shame to deal with it. So they shame their kids a lot, and they maybe spook out their kids or something, and they create these cycles of shame complexes and violence and depression and sadness, and the state feeds on that, because those are the right people that they can keep manipulating and scare into doing things, because likely those people are less likely to stand up for themselves, right? Those people are more likely to just say, okay, I'll just wait until somebody saves me, until the government says we can take off our masks. I don't like it, but what can I do? Right? They feel powerless. Those are the people that they prey upon, and I think that we're trying to save. Those of us who are not the statists, but those of us who see it, who see the lies play out. You could say the Ron Paulians, the libertarians, the whatever, the ANCAP, whatever, whatever you want to call it. People who just value this thing called, hey, you're a human being. I want to respect you, just like I want you to respect me. Cool. We can just coexist. It's really not that hard,
It's not, as long as you have the principles of self-ownership in mind and the respect of individual consent and property rights, which is why I think the cultural evolution toward that is so important in terms of educating people, especially the next generation. Whether it's new tactics like what Tuttle Twins is doing, to help young people learn about it, or Mises Institute, what they're doing, Foundation for Economic Education. I mean, that's just why it's so important to also reach out to the next generation. Because I actually just read in the Mises Caucus today that someone who was in law school I think he's a 1L first year, said that the con law professor asked everybody in the classroom, hey, is there such thing as, inalienable rights in America? And he said like most of the class like responded no. And whether it was for ignorance of what that word means or because, they believe that, none of your rights are ever, secure for life or whatever. I don't know, but
maybe they get it. Maybe they're like, the government doesn't follow that. What rights?
Right.
Maybe they get it. I don't know.
Maybe they get it, right? If only. I have a feeling that they don't based on some of the details he gave that, there's confusion. They're just, but it's scary to see how much brainwashing's been done, especially within the public school paradigm and the mass media paradigm of, what kids get exposed to. They're, watching like CNN 10 in school. So they have like a multi-layered brainwashing process from both the teachers and the resources the teachers bring into school to show kids. So
wow,
it's tough. It's a tough thing to break through.
Yeah.
But speaking of breaking through, I think it's time to break through and listen to the song.
Oh, yes. I mean, it's been 26 minutes. Thanks for hanging out, guys. I really enjoy the comments. Definitely never a mask. I'm tired of it. I'm never going to wear a mask again. You can't catch me in a mask. I'm not wearing a mask.
Yeah. I mean, minus maybe like an actual use, like cleaning.
If I'm dusting,
right,
I'm gonna voluntarily wear a mask.
Right.
But I'm not putting on a cloth.
Or if I'm playing paintball, yes, I'm gonna put
on
to go
shopping.
Yeah.
If you're telling me I need to put on a mask and gloves, I'm gonna be like, are you not cleaning your store? Why am I coming to your store if it's so dirty that I have to wear a mask and gloves? Right? That's actually a problem. Right? Like, is that not a problem?
I don't know. I mean, I think the issue is other people coming in and the air that's being ventilated through the store that would be considered the issue. Right. But again,
wouldn't that be a personal choice?
Right. Well, that's the ultimate thing.
Personal risk.
Right. Every single person, it's up to them to choose their own individual risk in terms of both what they use to protect themselves and what risks they wish to take. Like
and their own
in terms
risk
of where they want to go out. That's
too.
It. Right. It's like, oh, you want to reduce it and you want to go out? Okay, well then take care of your body really well, wear whatever you want to wear to protect yourself, blah, blah, blah. But the idea that you have to force others to wear what you want them to wear in terms of, your relative level of fear, whether it's rational or not, is just absurd. You know what I mean? It's no way to be able to live life because you're basically at the whims of everybody else's fears, the worst, fear of somebody else. So, yeah. But all right, let's go ahead.
I laughed because he said, come on, man.
Come on, man.
Sorry. What is this? Why is our president like more delusional than my
All right, everybody. Here is the interruption of the song playing now.
Cheers. Thanks. Skirt, 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 skirt. Look, we about to crash the whole damn narrative. Fuck the lockdown, shutdowns, mask order. Disobey the state, enslave no longer. I'ma live my life as I wish, mask free. I will not be silenced in the face of tyranny. Okay. Fuck the lockdown, shutdowns, mask order. Disobey the state, enslave no longer. I'ma live my life as I wish, mask free. I will not be silenced in the face of tyranny. 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years later, they be killing grandmas, cytokine ventilators, homo nursing homes, New York Holocaust. Trying to celebrate his book, pack his ass in a box. 100 million kids starving every day now. Karen's on Facebook, it's just shots, wow. Caring about the deaths only if it's elderly. Million kids starving just ain't a tragedy. Little Tony's lying on the TV. No mask, 2 masks, makes it up, you see. Carrie Muller's had it right the whole damn time. Fauci just a bureaucratic leech puppet mime. CDC reporting 1,000 new deaths. Now, is that causation just a positive test? The reason why they lie with half-truth omission is their mission is control, not honest disposition. They don't want you investigating PCR cycle, how a 35 plus made the data trifle. They don't want you messing with their massy narratives. Bandana scarf, piece of cloth, long as you muzzle sis. Got you gaslit, wearing masks for 3 seconds just to slip. Eating good next to others, slurp banana split. Look around, think about it, let me ask you how a virus not spreading just because there's food around. Good thing it's not a real concert. You'll be sick if you're out, hiding facts that sink and deep, get sickness down. killing children under lies that they super spreaders too. They want to get the use, used to living in a zoo. Don't get me started on the unexpected deaths, the spike in suicides, heart attacks, and cancer spreads. What'd you think was gonna happen when they shut down? A whole nation living in fear, all alone. 2020, 26 pounds later. Obesity and epidemic, but hey, you got a sticker and a donut for showing that you go nuts for a shot while ignoring your gut and the blood clots.
I mean, how you gonna act like you're helping out anyone? Sitting at home, tweeting out selfies with a stay home, save lives spray. You ain't doing jack shit. You just a bitch, bro.
Prison, bitch.
Fuck the lockdown, shutdowns, mask order. Disobey the state.
All right, immediately censored.
I'ma live my life as I wish, mask free. I will not be silenced in the face of tyranny. Fuck the lockdown, shutdowns, mask order.
Oh, it's gonna flatten the curve. Oh, that's so good, Travis.
I'ma live
Such
my
a
life
good
as I
line.
wish, mask free. I will not be silenced in the face of tyranny. You can run, you can hide, but you can't escape. Data points showing CNN is fake. Fake news. If it wasn't for the ratings, they'd be telling different tearing you with climate change, mass shootings, race division. The divide between case and infection rate demonstrates that the danger source always was a state of virus made to enslave. Police states, vaccine passports, then depopulate. Fuck the lockdown, shutdowns, mask order. Disobey the state and slave no longer. I'ma live my
I'm so
life
glad you
as
guys
I
like
wish,
it.
mask
Oh
free.
my gosh.
I will not be
Hey,
silenced
modern
in the face of
Renaissance.
tyranny. That's right. You gotta take your life back. They won't give it back to you. They want you enslaved and impoverished. Work together. Strive together. Resist the new world order.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I just want to trade. You know what I mean? Like I loved going to night markets in Canada, and there was like so many vendors, and like you get ice cream, you get like little trinkets or jewelry that someone made, or like spray paint art. It was like so cool to just see Agora. Just there you go, humans coming together to be like, look what I made, look what I can do. You want to give me some money? You know? And it's fun, and we have fun together, and we figure it out together. And you just, look, okay, there's another virus. Okay, maybe you should actually have open dialogue and have people be able to talk openly and not actually be censored. I mean, what kind of message are you sending when you say that you're about truth, but you're actually like shutting down conversation and claiming that you are the ultimate arbiter of truth, as if you're like some god who's all knowing, you know? Thanks,
Yeah.
Jesse.
Thanks. Thanks, Jesse. So yeah, tying it back. So on topic, staying on topic to the music video and stuff.
Thanks.
Yeah, I'm helping to bring it back. All these little rabbit trails. All right. So Jesse B says, how could people contact you? Well, obviously, there's a website. We have the campaign going, and stuff like that. So obviously there's business contact there, philosopher.com. But yeah, also, through the campaign on the Disobey campaign. So we're super excited for it. We're actually trying to make the music video for this song, and the goal right now is 3,000. That's kind of what we need to actually make the kind of basic video that kind of would mimic mask order level. But ideally would like to get to 10,000 if it was possible, because then we can hire a higher end production crew and do it more like ANCAT grind, but even a little bit better. So we'll see what happens. I don't know. But if we can do at least 3,000, then we can do another music video that's at least as good as, the mask order style. And then, get some more viral viewership for it, because that video actually right now, mask order is about to be at 100,000 views on YouTube alone. And it's also mirrored up
That'll
on
be my top
Odyssey,
video on YouTube.
Rumble, BitChute. It's on a bunch of different places. So we're basically, over 100,000 total views for sure. But to get this one up past that would be even better, just to push the culture, toward that direction of people being like, screw these lockdowns, shutdowns, and mask orders. So we're just trying to make it happen. We did do a little fundraiser for the first one, mask order. We didn't hit exactly near goal. We got enough to get some props. We really want to take it to the next level and have some really funny stuff, just like in the mask order video, where you had the golden hair and you had being the Karen.
Oh my gosh, spitting on the GoPro.
We had the fire pit with with burning Epstein and other stuff. We had just little funny things that we could add to it that give a sense of the situation, with the shot thing knocking back. We just want to do that with some more stuff that ties in the actual lyrics for this song. So again, there's lots of great ways to get involved with it. We have actually here like all different types of perks. So I'm just showcasing some of these from the campaign itself, like a digital wallpaper, obviously behind the scenes teaser. Oh, hey, that's from doing studio another time.
Yeah,
Stickers,
that was fun.
do a photo from the set. This is actually a picture that's from Mask Order, but obviously we'll have new pictures when we do this new music video. There'll be art prints that you can get if you really like that art print. The one with basically it's supposed to be this certain character, but it's like kind of like you, but it's like a
just add like
yeah.
10 years.
Yeah.
And then like a bigger, like 2 times the body size.
But yeah, I mean, obviously it's a hilarious one with Bill Gates and Fauci
really
up there.
Like
it's really good.
Like their faces like, can I?
Right. Then there's roll credits, so you can get a credit shout out at the end of the music video.
Shout out.
Of course, there's bigger stickers, assigned a set still.
That's from the old video, so it'll be a different one.
It'll be a different one. Yeah, that's not the one.
Yeah.
An SD card of our song. So basically, this current song and then other songs that we've done on an SD card with a bunch of the other perks. So there's that perk as well, and there's an executive advertisement, which means that there's an advertisement where you get your personal name only one, or company name at the beginning of the video. Basically, a brought to you by, and you could have your name and or the you're like all the way. Yeah, or you could have your website and stuff like that. So just lots of different ways to get involved with it. And to help us get to that goal of making the music video itself. So
yeah,
and thanks to everybody who has already supported too. I think
we haven't looked at it in a while. It's been
let's see,
almost an hour. No, it's been an
so
hour.
We're at 361 7
Cool.
backers. So awesome.
12%. Very cool. Just started. Very
right.
Awesome. Well, I mean, I just appreciate that there's already people who really want to see it happen. I definitely want to see it happen. So we'll see if we can.
Me too. So
yeah. This year is gonna be fun, Let's
yeah, we'll see. I mean, we
really
try
to do as much as we can. I mean,
right.
Specifically to try and like shift the culture in a way that people really value individual liberty. That's ultimately what it's about.
Mm-hmm.
And like we believe so strongly, like that's how we have a peaceful and prosperous world, as if we can convince as many people as we can to actually believe in those ideas and respect each other's property rights.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's been a part of what we've been working on for years, is trying to reach people in different avenues, whether it's through gun rights or whether it's through, entertainment and culture, whether it's through pho, right? Comics,
And goiku. Oh my gosh, I would eat some right now. Travis asks, how big is the 50 art print? Is that 8x10?
I think that the art print is a 5.5 by wait, what am I saying? 5.5 by, because I'm 17, so that's 8.5. Yeah, 5.5 by 8.5. It's a half size of the 11 by 17 typical like canvas print that's considered for comic book style. So it's something that can fit more readily into, like, we have these special envelopes that are like hardback that are good for shipping. So it's like I pick stuff that I can actually fit in there and it won't like bend or like mess up the machines that ship them. So kind of something I developed over time, like what's the best, thing to ship. Because whenever it gets too big past that, then it, gets a pain in the butt to send. And then like you have corners bending and stuff. So try to do that, which will last.
Tried and true.
It's a card stock. That's, high gloss print. So it looks nice. It's really cool.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But so we're working on that, and of course too, we're actually almost done on this other campaign too. Just a quick note: the there it is. The Walter Patches campaign. This is the last patches we're going to be doing.
Yeah.
For maybe 6 to 8 months.
Do you have a Walter like me? Q5.
Yeah, you can show that off.
Oh, there's 3 kinds here.
Yeah.
So this is
bring that up to the camera so they can see.
Oh. The
and
one
then shake it
the
left to right
bottom?
so they can see the shine.
Oh.
There you go. That's how you do it.
Whoa.
Oh, look at that shine.
So the one at the bottom, is that the Q5 match?
Yeah, that's the Q5 match. Yeah, the blue.
Wow. That's so cool.
Yeah, there's P99 and then the Q4 steel frame. So this Q4 steel frame, P99. And of course, you have that one. So.
Oh, Q4 steel frame and then Q5 match at the bottom. See, it's a little longer.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the PPQ?
P99.
Oh, P99. I don't have that one. That's cool.
Oh,
Yeah.
that steel frame.
Yeah, Q5's cool. And the Q4 steel frame's pretty cool too.
Yeah.
So
you know,
lots
you
of
want
cool
some
things are going.
patches? That's ending soon.
But we're just trying to do all that we can because we got a lot of big events and other stuff coming up too as well.
Oh,
but
I'm so excited. Yeah.
And then, you know, we want to do this music video, but in 2022, you know, we have some music videos we want to do too. We want to do the music video for Florida Man and I Do Not Consent. So we'll be hitting up then too. But hopefully the fandom from this Disobey track and hopefully the music video we're able to do ends up spurring more people to be like, yeah, we need more cultural stuff for Liberty. So,
Yep.
Yeah.
Definitely. You know, it's stuff that like people can share, you know, that people can play at a party with some friends and just like have some fun, you know, but also get very passionate and excited and feel like confident, like that they're not alone and that it's okay to stand up for yourself.
Right.
And say, I don't wear masks. I'm not sick. You know, or
right.
If you want to wear a mask, go ahead. But I'm not going to wear one. I don't want to. Like, it's that simple.
Well, yeah. I mean, well, the big issue there to me is just that
not that I'm gonna like
the whole
squat
thing
on your
is
property.
just security
It's not
theater.
saying
Like that's
that.
what
It's
it boils down to. Is it's
yeah.
just it is the way to get people to get accustomed to being in extreme discomfort and covering their social cues to dehumanize people. I think that's a part of it as well. And ultimately,
I can't even read people's expressions.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's a dehumanizing act and it's just a compliance act. It has nothing to do with the empirical reality of how people choose the mass materials and use their hygiene, you know, which obviously do not match what the CDC says to do in any way. Like it's not possible to follow through what the CDC says to do.
Yeah.
They're like, you know, yeah, sanitize your hands and take it off the loop and then like fold it and then put it into like some Ziploc bag and stuff. Like it's just stuff that nobody does. Like literally. I mean, could you do it? Yes. Does anybody do it? No.
Yeah.
Like literally everybody's like, oh, it's sweaty, it's itchy. Oh, I scratch it. Oh, I'm pulling it down for my smoke break. Oh, I'm going to eat lunch. I'm just going to put it, you know, in my purse. Like, I mean, it's just.
I think some people do who are really into it and cleanly, but I think for most they see it as an annoyance. They see it as something, I have to do this. You know, it's something they're just like, I just pull it down.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when we went to YALCON, there was somebody I talked to and I just asked like, hey, you know, like I heard they reinstituted a mask mandate for you guys. He's like, yeah, it's ridiculous. We had it before and they took away the mask mandate when they were like, okay, well, if you get the vaccine, you don't have to wear a mask. So they incentivize all the employees to get a vaccine. So they got the vaccine. And then like just the day before the conference, they had reinstituted the mandate because they're like, oh, cases are rising again.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully cases go down. But now even if you're vaccinated, you still have to wear a mask. And they were like, it's so ridiculous. Why did we get vaccinated? And I could just see that some of these people were just going along thinking it'll be over, right?
Right. They believe that if they followed that they would get rewarded.
Yep. Freaking lied to.
Yep.
And I mean, whatever, I guess that was a mistake for whoever did that, but it's just like they really made a lot of people mad. And I asked him like, you know, do you have chances to breathe? He's like, when I'm alone, I breathe. He said that. Like, he's like, he's like, in fact, when you guys leave and I walk you to the car, he was like helping us get to the car. He's like, I'm going to go to the back and actually like breathe outside.
Right.
And it's just, I feel bad for that. You know, these are the people that have to work through it all, you know, and I want to free those people. I want them to have a job. I don't want them to be like, oh, I have to wear this every day. It should be purely a choice.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we want, like culturally, for people to understand. It's this idea of personal responsibility. I hate this idea of like collectivist responsibility. Like, oh, you're responsible for someone so far away or someone you don't even know. It's like, no, I'm responsible for me, because if I get sick, who's going to take care of me? Well, me, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And if you get sick, I mean, it should be you individually that takes care of yourself, right? You own yourself. It's your body. You moved your body. You chose to eat what you ate, you know? So we're literally up against this difference in mindset at the core, which is, are you like a collectivist or an individualist? Are you someone who values the individual and their rights above this abstract idea of the collective good and what's good for the collective that like you can't even know, like how you don't even know everyone's thoughts and like
well, you know what's funny about the collective good is that every time the collective good is spoken of, it's by an individual projecting what they wish for
that's
others to
true.
do. There's no such thing as a collective
Right.
good.
And
It
claiming
is an individual
that they speak and they
speaking
speak
to
for
the
them.
collective
Right.
good, claiming to be able to speak on behalf of a bunch of people. And it's the most ultimate sophistry. So anybody who talks about collective good be like, oh, okay, so you're saying your collective good that you think is what other people want. That's something you surveyed everybody and they all agree with you. It's like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And then it just breaks down because it's sophistry. You know, collective good ideas spring from the individual consciousness, and it is a complete sophistic move to pretend it doesn't.
Yeah.
It's gaslighting.
But I just think I do find it interesting to just notice that it is such a fundamental difference in mindset,
Yeah.
you know?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's a program
collectivism
thing.
versus individualism. It's
Mhm.
it's the difference. What makes someone a racist, right? They're a collectivist. They're not seeing the individual in front of them. They see a color. They see like a sound, right? They hear a sound, like they have whatever. What?
You just said hear a sound? It just made me think, like, what
Yeah.
sound?
I'm just saying like accents
No.
and stuff. I'm saying like if you know you're not like
What do they hear? Like the sound of like a walk or like a hot pot?
no, like
Like,
you're right.
that triggers my
your New York
my
accent.
xenophobia.
No, like a New York accent or like a oh, what's up? I'm from Cali, dude. Like
I don't think that's a race, California, but okay, sure.
it's not a race.
We'll
but I'm
we'll
just
play with
saying,
it. We'll go with it.
This idea of looking
You're a
at
quarter
someone,
of a Florida man deep. I'll take it.
I'm just saying, like you're just looking at somebody like not for them as an individual, you know, and you're just like basing what your judgment of them solely based on like what you see immediately.
Mhm.
And it's like your preconceived notions of other people that sounded like that or looked like that before,
Right.
you know, instead of whoa, being conscious and like, hey, this is a new person. I in reality never met this person before, so maybe I should not have these preconceived notions and treat them however a way, you know.
Mhm.
So
Right.
that's what I meant.
And Jesse here says,
Oh,
he's like,
hey.
only breathe after exhaustive testing the local air. Like, right. Like, he's just pointing out the fact that before this, nobody cared. Like, nobody was like seriously like freaking out and worried about whatever it is that they were going to, so long it wasn't like dire, like, oh, it's actual smog or actually poisonous. Like,
I would say around
yeah.
here, people haven't been freaking out anymore.
No.
Well, I think people
let's
are
bring to
kinda
bear
calmed
something
down.
really good. So we were just at Walmart.
Yeah.
Not a place I normally like to go to, but they have this one mouthwash that I really like, and I just can't find a replacement. I don't know.
It's true.
It's what it is.
It's true. It's a
what
good
it is.
mouthwash.
So we're there, and you know, we always like checking to see the signage and you know what's the new update. And as always, it's from the government in terms of what they're relying on. They say in accordance with CDC, right? So again, that's its own marker, right? If you're saying as a business in accordance with CDC, you've already precluded the idea that I'm going to treat the business as having a private interest in the outcome, right? Because you're relying on government. So if you're telling me, oh, the government told me this, then I'm like, okay, I'm out. I'm already done. So in any case, though, they say, you know, certain people with shots, blah, 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 you know, even still have, you know, whatever their boosters, the CDC recommends you still maybe wear a mask. They said, but it's recommended, right? So it's not enforced anymore. And I'd say when you're in there, it was
the
50-50.
person out front is not being like, "Where's your mask?"
Right.
You
It
know?
was like 50-ish,
just leave
50,
you alone
maybe a
now.
little less, like with more people just not wearing it, right? So it just goes
Yeah.
to show that a lot of the
I feel
compliance,
relieved. I mean,
right?
I was tired of it. I was tired of and now we see like,
Mhm.
you know, between half to 2/3, I would say, are not wearing a mask. So
Yeah, no, definitely way more. I would say at least 50, if probably more, but
Yeah.
just not doing it. And the thing is,
except I don't know about the employees.
well, the employees have. I'm pretty sure the corporate makes the employees wear it.
Okay.
But you know, they're just not doing anything with anybody in terms of. I think they're just over trying to enforce it.
Mhm.
But I think interesting aspect of that is that as more and more people are choosing to just live life, it's inspiring more and more people to, you know, just take theirs off, right? And even to the point where, like, even in the business, like you see people and they, you know, they have the mask, but all of a sudden it's down at their chin, right? Like they're like, oh, okay, nobody's doing this. I'll just take it off. It's just what it is. Like nobody is really doing it because they genuinely are afraid by and large. Like and I say this because the really scared people just don't even go out. You know what I mean? Like if you're really scared, you're not going to Walmart, right? Walmart's a place you might want to wear a mask just because it's so nasty. You know what I mean? Like that's the one place, right? You want N95 just because of the stank. But beyond that, it's in reality, most people who are like deathly afraid are just not even going out to places, right? They're getting it ordered in or whatever, to the best they can. So the culture generally is shifting, I'd say, by and large, of people just being like, yeah, I'm over this nonsense.
And it's also shifted in that I've seen people who are like today, we saw someone double masked and no longer am I seeing people like being all like, oh, social distance?
Yeah,
no one's doing, actually,
not
nobody's
even the mask
doing,
people.
even the mask people.
Yeah,
so that's a good shift.
No.
Right. So that's good. And the friendliness is there again. So even amongst the mask people, even though I can't see your face, I just see your eyes. I'm like, are you like mad at me? Or are you like, are you happy? But in any case, I can hear their voice. So then I'm like, okay, you're probably happy because they're just like, okay, well, have a nice day. Thank you. It's like even someone we were talking to was like double mask helping us check out is like being friendly and stuff,
Oh, that reminds me. Like when we were getting checked out too.
But still, I mean, she had the same, are you going to talk about?
Yeah. Oh, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do it.
Well,
what are you going to talk about? The gloves. The gloves.
I like grabbed the floor.
You're like, I need another drink for this. Yeah.
All right, tell us.
The gloves. Well, you tell us about the gloves too.
No,
because
you
what did you say?
the gloves.
You tell about the gloves.
You were about to tell us about the gloves.
You about to tell. But in any case, I'll tell about the gloves. So literally, it's a nice. It's clearly immigrant woman based on the voice, like the
I didn't know
the accent was very like pretty off the boat or just had never adapted, whatever. But she's otherwise super pleasant. But she had on these gloves that you could tell she had not changed in a long time. And this is like one of those stupid things, right? Where it's like the workers will wear a glove, like one of those typical nitrile gloves, and they're not even cleaning it. They're just using it and touching it every freaking day.
And I saw right before that, she grabbed a big thing of steak.
Right.
Like a big case of steak, wrapped steak. But, there's blood around it or somehow. And like those same gloves are like now touching our mouthwash.
Right. Like the point of wearing gloves, if you're going to wear those, is you wear it once and then you take them off. Like
you
use it to touch meat or something gross and then you take it off. But if you're touching every freaking thing after and you're not washing your hands, you're just taking what you touch and then touching everything. And it's gross. It's some nasty stuff. I'm just saying.
I know.
It's like a pet peeve of mine. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so stupid.
How many people use those same gloves to pull their mask back up over their nose?
Right. Yeah. And then they're going to use that same nasty glove. They touch that Walmart conveyor belt. All the nasty Walmart.
Actually, if you think about it, we're the clean freaks here.
Right.
We're like, no, stop.
Dude.
Why are you wearing the same mask all day? That's gross. You're sweating in it. You're wearing glasses. It's like fogging up your glasses. Like we're the ones who are the clean freaks.
Yeah, we're the ones who are like, okay, actually
change
wash
out
your hands.
Gloves. Why are you wearing the same gloves from meat to meat? Dirty thing to dirty. Go wash your hands.
Nasty. Nasty stuff. Like, I mean, like, you know what I mean? Like, and that's the other part of this too that nobody's talking about. Like, how nasty is this stuff when people are they're like taking a dump in the Walmart bathroom, wearing the same surgical mask, then they wipe their butt and they haven't even like cleaned their hands yet, and then they're like touching their mask to adjust it. Like, seriously, this is some nasty stuff.
Like memories.
It's nasty.
Someone goes
it's gross.
to the Walmart bathroom.
Like, what the hell?
And they take a dump and they have the same mask.
Bro, I'm just like,
that's
another thing. It's like all these gloves and masking like gave the dumbest people the idea that they're like being clean and safe. Like they actually like think that like, oh, I have this cloth or I have this glove. I am now safe from everything and I am clean, even though they don't
Some
even wash
of them
their hands
though,
or don't change their mask.
I don't blame them because again, these are the people being taken advantage of.
Right.
Because they were conditioned. I know what it was like to go to public school and be conditioned to obey authority. Government is go to .gov for the truth. That's what I learned. Like, if you want to find facts, go to .gov and go to peer-reviewed journals. That was always what they said, in school. I remember that. I don't always blame these people. It's just like a lot of these people,
but
the people in charge are intentionally they themselves are spreading misinformation. They themselves are suppressing like different opinions and ideas and not giving people a chance to see all the information in front of them for themselves and be able to make a choice, make their own decision. Instead, a lot of people feel like shamed and coerced to wear a mask. Oh, I'm going to get fired if I don't wear a mask, right?
Right.
Oh, I want to be able to breathe again. Okay, I'm going to get the vaccine. You know, that's horrible. Those are victims.
Yeah. No, I mean, and it is true. I mean, of course, I should qualify what I say with saying that I do feel
you're talking
sad
about
for
the
some of these
Karens.
people.
You're talking about the Karens.
I do feel sad. It is tragic that some people who are just for whatever reason in life don't have the ability to independently think and research. And again, it might not be their fault in terms of just that was their life.
Yeah.
But
I think you're talking about the ones that cross over into being Karens, like who become little tyrants.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't like little tyrants either, but I'm just saying it's just. Yeah. I mean, everyone's responsible for their actions, but but for some people, it's understandable how they got there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I just mean like the people who they're just like literally deathly afraid. I mean, you probably saw this at least once in the past year, right? Wherever you live, you probably at least saw at least one person who was like really deathly afraid. You know?
Oh yeah, I saw plenty of people are deathly afraid.
And when you see like young teenagers deathly afraid, that's when you know there's like sad. A problem.
Well, there's some people who have a right to be deathly afraid.
Yes.
And they're literally
a lot of teens
500 pounds. Like, and don't go outside.
Totally healthy.
Right.
Probably. You know, I don't know, obviously, but the chances that 100% of like 100 people, like kids I see at the ball are like, you know, autoimmune compromised. I just don't think that that's a high chance. That's just what I mean. It's just like likely at least most of them are healthy, and so they shouldn't be so deathly afraid. And that was sad to see. Like a lot of these kids like think, okay, I can't see my friend. Okay, I'm gonna have a graduation where I get to walk around the parking lot alone, and my family can't even stand next to me. They have to be in the car. I mean, that happened to my sibling. It's wrong. It's just like you're talking about robbing these kids of their memories. Like your graduation is one of the funnest things. Like these not that, but just like these milestones. This is the things that you look back on. You're like, oh, I remember that milestone. Oh yeah, that birthday. Oh yeah, this and that. Oh yeah, all my friends were together. That was a cool time. A reason to celebrate. A rare thing that happens when all your friends are together in one place. Celebrating, you know, in that case, it's like, okay, you're graduating. These are all the people you've been to school with. The best memories
of those terrible forced associations.
Yeah, no, yes, of course. But they're not even getting that anymore.
Right.
They're not even getting like, okay, fine, we're sitting in the same class, but we get to make fun of the teacher because we're not masked and we can talk and we can throw nose. But now it's just like, nope, sit 6 feet apart, like have a mask. And just listen to the teacher. Like it's so wrong. It's not right.
Yeah.
And to anyone who has kids, get your kids out of school. I mean, I don't know what you need anymore to get your kids out of public school. I mean, libertarians have been talking about this for so long, and a lot of people are like, whoa, it's good. It's like free baby, you know, babysitting.
Free babies. It's free babies.
No, it's free babysitting, you know.
Come on, free baby.
I can drop them off. I think they're getting a good education, but you don't realize like, no, the Marxists have taken over. Nope. They're being taught to hate communism. Nope. They're being taught to be gun control freaks and authoritarians, eco-fascists. That's what they're being taught to be.
Oh, absolutely.
To be sophists, to be confused about their gender. No, literally. If you see it in American schools, like, I don't know what it takes to get your kids out of school. Like, legit, you are sending them to a mental prison and a place where they're being conditioned to just blindly follow orders, to just blindly follow authority, and to give up their possibly precious life on this planet. To what? To people who are like sick in the head.
I think it's funny that like some parents will be like, yeah, well, I teach my children at home too. You know, I mean, it's like, yeah, compared to what, 8 hours of like communistic brainwashing in school, like get out of here. Like, you know what I mean? Like the kids are going to spend more time having their minds worked on and being traumatized by both the schooling process with what teachers and principals do, and of course, other dysfunctional kids. then they're going to be affected, by what parents are saying to them in the number of hours it's being spent and the way that their minds are being worked on. And then parents, of course, often become accomplices in that, right? By threatening and shaming kids and to be like, oh, you need to do this. You're going to work at McDonald's and stuff. It's just, the whole system again is just built to get young people.
You need to spend 24 years of your life to us or you'll work at McDonald's.
24 years?
I'm just saying like through college because they like push
And grad
college
school.
too. Okay. And then
Okay. No. No, I don't understand. 13 years. We'll say 13.
And then you get out and the market's saturated. So you still work at McDonald's.
You still working at McDonald's.
And all your taxes go to like student loans. So everyone goes to college.
We saw McDonald's trying to hire 14, 15-year-olds now, right? Because they can't get anybody to work.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Yeah. And that's the other thing. So even around here, there's still like this distorted economic incentives because there are ways now where you can get paid like what?
Because the legal
400.
adults are getting the unemployment benefits and the CARES Act benefits and other stuff that are, whatever is remaining still.
Yeah. And everyone working is literally funding that in some way.
But you know who's not getting that?
Either directly or through inflation.
You know who's not getting that?
Who?
The kids. That's how come they're saying, okay, 14, 15-year-olds now, because the adults can qualify for benefits directly. If you're 18, you can qualify. Even if you're in high school, you're 18. Oh, well, you're a legal adult. You can qualify for the unemployment benefits. But the 14, 15-year-olds don't qualify. So McDonald's like, all right, maybe 14, 15-year-olds will come on in. They can get that ice cream machine to work. Did you hear about that too?
I would think most are in SKU.
Well, I mean, you work after school, whatever, but like the FTC was investigating McDonald's because their ice cream machines, like the way they have them operate, like basically the franchisees have to use McDonald's like corporate, selected company that like services them. So like basically some of the franchisees try to like get workarounds and get like people to like work around how they could fix the machines, but that's how come they're always down is because there's like a special like forced monopoly on it. Now, again, that doesn't mean the government should come and fix it with the FTC, but it's one of those things where it's like, like that's why those machines are not working for the McFlurries.
Thanks,
Not that you should eat McFlurries necessarily here, but mystery solved.
Yeah. Man, it's big ice cream.
Big ice
cream maintenance. Maintenance.
It's big maintenance.
Yeah.
Big maintenance.
Yeah, big maintenance will leave us alone.
Big McFlurry.
Big McFlurry. That's so funny.
Big flurry.
They took our gerbs.
They took the Jeeps.
Then they find
as
out
Travis
they took
Walsh
our
said, took the
gerbs.
Jeeps.
You're right. Then they're gonna make it illegal for 14 and 15-year-olds.
Right.
No,
I worked on the books at 14. I was Winn-Dixie. I worked as a cart pusher essentially, and helping out the old ladies and throwing out trash. But
oh, you helped out old ladies. Why not old men?
Well, I mean, if they asked. Usually guys just don't say yes when you say, would you like help out to your car?
Oh, yeah. Even old men, they're like, no, I'm good.
Yeah. And the old ladies would be like, oh, here you go, Sonny. Here's a quarter. I'm like, we can't accept tips. Then she'd like stuff it in my pocket anyway. I'm like, oh, thanks, Grandma.
A quarter?
A quarter, 25 cents.
I remember for me, it was like $2.
$2.
That's that inflation, man. A quarter?
No,
I remember a quarter
was
buying
still not
gum.
worth that much. This wasn't like 1950 where it like bought 2 slices of pizza and a soda.
No.
It still didn't buy that
In
much.
the 90s, a quarter bought you like a piece of bubble gum.
A piece? I mean,
now a quarter won't even buy you a piece of bubble gum. Now it's like 50 cents.
I haven't tried to buy bubble gum in
It's
so long that I
true.
don't even know what a quarter would buy bubble gum.
I look at the vending machines. I know
don't
now.
know.
It's not 25 cents anymore. It's like 50 cents.
Yeah.
Just look.
Yeah.
Or they made
Josh
the candy
says,
small.
big ice cream.
It's big ice cream.
Big ice cream.
Dude, there's big everything.
There is. There's a
Big
one
pineapple pizza.
Jesse, this is a good one. Just said, flipping burgers these
Big
days probably
pho.
pays better than any job you can get with a gender studies degree. Yeah, exactly. I mean, of course, unless, of course, here's one for you, Jesse.
Ooh, diversity and inclusion.
Your job is to teach people gender studies. So you join the pyramid scheme.
Oh, right.
It reminds you of
That's
that
how
old
it
joke
works.
that like
Oh my gosh,
there's a
you're
pyramid
right.
scheme where it's like someone got their PhD in archaeology and they couldn't get a job. So they like just wanted to, because they couldn't actually go out and like go do research. So they just went and just taught more students. So it was basically a pyramid scheme. So they're like teaching students to like go and,
Oh my god.
learn about archaeology and Egypt and stuff,
Wow.
Egyptology.
That's funny.
Anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's wild out there, man.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Big currency for sure. It is
Big
wild.
currency.
You're right.
Well, we're trying to be big music video. You know what I mean? Like we're trying to
Big pho.
big
Even
pho-
though
and
in the
big
song
pho.
I said
Yeah.
Lil Pho.
We're
But it's
still
actually
trying to
Big
find
Pho.
big pho because we want to like, you know what I mean, get you some money at least for all the the pho you're promoting out there. There's got to be some Vietnamese behind all the pho out there, right? Like
It's like
hey,
an elite class of Vietnamese.
grease my wheels. Come on, big pho. Yeah.
It's the dongs and the dings.
The dogs and the dings. You want to get greased by the dongs and the dings.
And the wins.
For your
you can't
pho-
forget the wins.
and the
right?
wins for your
The
pho
wins.
money.
The
Yeah.
tangs.
And the tangs. That's
There's
right.
so many. No, it's great.
But
You're
no,
right. Where are
unfortunately,
they?
there appears to be
Where's Big Goiku?
Where's Big
I want
Goiku?
I want to be Big Goiku. I eat all the Goiku.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Where's my cut? Yeah.
Big pho.
Big pho.
All right, new branding, guys.
That's
Big
right.
pho.
Big pho.
I like gained 20 pounds.
Yeah.
Hey guys, it's Big pho.
If
Know
you
why my
gained-
voice would get that much deeper? Probably not. It
You'd be
probably
a
wouldn't
great
get that-
rapper if that happened.
like,
Yeah.
like new idea.
Yeah, right.
A year later, I'm like, hey guys. Like, have you guys seen Fat Dave on Twitter? Fat Dave
Yeah.
Smith.
That fat Dave. Josh here says he's like 100,000 views, right? I mean, that's
yeah. Is it over 95?
I don't
yet?
know. I haven't checked today, but it's basically about to be there. Almost 100.
Huh.
Are you taking the keyboard?
Yeah.
Okay. So basically, it's something that at first we're like, oh, we're just wanting to, rally cultural, big, do a little insider ball, but actually like it kept blowing up more and more because so many people are like, yeah, screw the mask orders and these lockdown shutdowns. It's crazy.
Right? Oh, it is over 95.
Yeah,
That's-
95 and change.
That's
yeah.
really cool. All right.
Well, hopefully we can get it up to 100 actually on YouTube alone.
All right.
Yeah. I mean, imagine if we can get the message of liberty out to as many people as Tom McDonald does. Like, that'd be crazy. Like, because he talks about some liberty stuff. I definitely like, a lot of his messages and stuff in terms of just trying to get past division and stuff.
Mhm.
And he certainly, I think, values liberty. But a principled message, or hell, I mean, if we can convince Tom McDonald just to become a principled libertarian or anarchist, some of that, spectrum, that'd be great.
Like an Eric July. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, right. We got to get Tom McDonald to talk to Michael Malice.
Yeah.
That'd be great. Yeah.
It's like we need to get everyone talking to Michael Malice.
Right. Michael Malice is everywhere.
I saw the interview with him and Blair White. I shared that to my channel. I thought that was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
At one point, he's like, all right. He's like, come over, honey. I'm going to sit you down. I'll make you an anarchist. Because she was like, can you just tell me what's going on? Like, I think you're going to tell it to me straight, Michael, please. It was great.
Yeah.
But you can see that he's definitely on that mission.
Mhm.
Like, you can tell, like, the guests he brings on, he seeds it in. He drops seeds of this idea of
Yeah,
anarchy.
he's trying to pipeline people to principled liberty. And it's so needed right now with how many different governments at this point are trying to put in the one world government. I mean, it's like before it was like, oh, you're just conspiracy, blah blah. It's like at this point it's pretty obvious, right, people? I mean, all you watching this video in the comments, it's not really a mystery anymore, right? You see one world government trying to turn everybody into a total technocratic, total surveillance society where you have to have everything about your history checked so you can even like buy a burger or just get some bread, right? And
just get a coffee.
I think at this point, everybody here watching is pretty on board with seeing that. I don't think anybody is confused about that fact anymore.
Yeah. Big Malice.
So, yes, that's
Big
what we need.
Michael.
We need Big Malice, right? Yeah, Larkin Rose on Joe Rogan. That'd be crazy. That'd be insane.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Or Ron Paul.
Well, in the meantime, that's why we're trying to do what we do too, is like the idea of just trying to do more creative things that are worthy of an interview on bigger podcasts and stuff like that. I mean, we could probably reach out if we wanted to, but I just want to get organically invited, right? Like actually do something
I don't
worth
wanna
being
ask.
invited.
Yeah, it's
I don't
like
wanna
all
beg.
the interviews I've done, I've been invited.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I just do something so noteworthy or in the entertainment realm or something like that that gets them to be like, oh yeah, I want to talk about that. So yeah, but
that would be
that's what we're trying to do.
paradigm shifting.
That's what we're trying to do with this Disobey music video. So
It's interesting hearing people like Russell Brand or even Ben Shapiro say the word libertarian. Like it's spread that much in terms of mainstream culture that now mainstream heads are saying the word libertarian. Acknowledged.
Mhm.
Acknowledged. That's the
Right.
first step.
Yeah. No, I mean, and that's a lot of people don't realize that aspect that, somewhat people that jump from like, I'm a Republican, I'm a Democrat to being like, I, see the government as ultimately an evil force against humanity. Like a lot of people can't make that jump and, oh, I see you're taking my floor, man. In one step,
Sure.
right? Like it takes a lot of unwinding. It took me a lot of unwinding too from my neoconservative days. It's something that takes patience and time and lots of effort to try to help educate people on ethics and the philosophy and help them to realize, wow, the government says they're doing all these great things, and then in reality, they're doing the opposite of what they're saying they're doing in terms of the good things, right? Whether it's war or the national debt being crazy, or saying they're taking care of poor minorities, meanwhile, putting tons of people into prison over victimless crimes, in a clearly, racially disproportionate way. I mean, it's just, I mean, even with the passports, right? New York City.
It is pretty crazy that the drug war is still going on.
That's nuts.
After all this culture shift where you have, I mean, I don't know if you could survey everybody, like all people above 18 or something. I don't know what you would age, but like, I would think most people by now are fine with their neighbors smoking marijuana or cannabis. Like, I think they would be like, okay, end the drug war. This is wrong.
Well, that's just one part. I think, there's some people who still like are worried, like, oh my gosh, if you have like heroin and crack, there's gonna be like crazy crack people all over. And it's like
same argument when it comes to guns,
right? People,
if you can see it in one area, you should be able to see in the rest. Like,
it's the same thing.
If you realize that it's wrong to just be like, oh yeah, all gun owners are crazy. Oh,
right.
If we don't have the NFA, people would just get machine guns and shoot everybody. Like,
exactly. It's like, you understand guns can cause serious harm. Yeah, of
it's
course.
like, look, people can do bad things as it stands, even with the NFA and like you could just get a semi-auto rifle or just get a pistol or just get a knife or just get a poison or just get acid. Like, you could do anything. Like, it's just not even, it's the very point is that you really think someone is just going to be like, oh, because this particular thing is now available, I'm suddenly going to become a murderer. That makes no sense.
No.
And it's like, maybe you should get to know your neighbors instead of like judging them and like trying to like enslave them.
Right. Well, I mean, a big part of that is just recognizing the fact that by and large, most all people have a self-interest in not destroying their lives and their property themselves and not dying.
And a lot of them comply. But
right. Exactly. And the ones who are so dysfunctional that they will get into addictive tendencies or do violence seem to do that already. They don't, you know what I mean? Like, even if it's illegal, they still manage to get drugs. They still manage to get guns. They still manage to get whatever it is they're not supposed to have.
They get into so much debt. They're underwater on a mortgage.
Yeah.
People do that anyway. Like, the key is, are people responsible for their failures? Do you live in a society where you have strong property rights so that they fail? Are you on the hook? Well, if there's no taxation, no. If you're not forced to fund someone's bad habits, would you really care so much if they were leaving you alone and others alone? And they're just being reckless in and of themselves, but they're the ones on the hook for it all,
Well, yeah, I mean, I think, with most people's like genuine concerns, it's always the same thing that I've seen come up, which is like the person who wants to just do mass harm. Like, oh, this person wants to release a biological agent and nuclear weapons and blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay, that's a great conjecture, even ignoring the aspects of the part where it's complicated and costs time and money. It's not exactly accessible. Even ignoring that for a second, this literally exists with governments around the world, right? You live already in that anarchy of states where there's already governments that can do genetic engineering, biological engineering, weapons engineering to release chemical agents. Oh, and engineer and release viruses. Huh, where have we seen that before? And drop bombs, including nuclear weapons. Which country has dropped nuclear weapons on other innocent people? I mean, there's, you know what I mean, right? It's like, so it's like, when you think about it, you already live in a world where dangerous, really horrific things can happen at any time. And most governments throughout history topple within a short period. You know what I mean? Like for a lot of the people around the world, they've already seen the borders in their, respective slave encampment, aka states, be redrawn multiple times with just the 20th century alone, with World War I and II, and of course Vietnam War, Korea War, and all this other stuff. I mean, that conflict is pretty normal for most people around the world. But if you happen to have a period of peace in one area, you don't connect with that and realize, oh wow, it's actually tumultuous for a lot of people. Yeah. And so ultimately, it's a matter of changing the culture and the psychology, because if you don't change people's values toward that end, toward seeing non-initiation of violence as the cultural norm, it doesn't matter. Like you could talk about the what ifs of any kind of crazy thing happening. What good's that going to matter if the cultural norm is, oh, okay, well, if governments steal and pillage and mass murder and use eugenics to kill off people, well, that's okay. They voted on it, right? Like, I mean, it's not going to change anything. You could sit there and worry about the mass murder, and the government's going to do, way more mass murder than the private murderers, which actually did happen in the 20th century. That in democide, there were more people killed than in private murder in the 20th century. Literally, you can go look this up at Hawaii and the University of Hawaii. There's a professor there who writes about this. So it's something that is.
I mean, that should be
you got to think about
eye-opening for somebody,
Right.
Like, oh my gosh, governments killed more people than like non-government people did. You're killing it, Jack.
Yeah. No, that's a fact. I'm not like just pulling this out of my butt. It's a University of Hawaii. It's called 20th Century Democide. There's a professor there who specifically studies it. I have to look up his name. It just slipped my mind. But yeah, you can just Google Hawaii 20th century democide. You can go look it up. And the number of people who have been killed by governments is more than the private murders in the 20th century. And that makes sense because they have all the big guns. What do you think? Like, duh, like who's going to kill more people? I don't know. The people with all the tanks and the bombs and the planes, and the biological agents and the chemical agents, think World War I especially, before that was, banned.
And that's agents,
not really
not
banned,
Asians. Right.
Phosphorus being used. But, right. So as Jesse says here, people who want to do harm want to hurt themselves, they will. Knife, gun, car, pills, exactly. All tools just require physical manipulation functions, mental balance.
I just love that picture of us at Liberty Doll. That's so cool.
Right.
Cheers, Jesse.
Cheers to that. I'll cheers to that. Cheers myself.
Florida man.
This is the ultimate. Yeah, white boy summer. You got Florida man with White Claw. Boom. Look at that. But no, what Jesse says is exactly right.
I didn't know you were white.
Well, I mean, my skin tone is relatively
I thought you were
white.
Asian the whole time.
Oh, phew. Okay. I thought you were going to out me for being an African American. But
I don't know why I laugh so hard.
I don't know. But in any case, the point being is that, as Jesse correctly noted, it's not hard to do harm. Like if someone really wants to just mess someone's day
up,
the
point we're getting at,
you could drive a car into a crowd. You could stab people.
If someone wanted to do harm, they would have done it already. They didn't need to wait for like.
It is very easy to do it. You don't need
somebody
guns.
Who has a will, and this happens. Like when you have heavy gun control, then you see you still see like crimes through hands and knives. That's still a thing. Like in Japan, mass murders with knives.
Right.
Oh my gosh. You know how horrible it would be to just be like stabbed so much and you have like no way to defend yourself? That's crazy. I mean, I just want...
That's happened in China. There's a big knifing by a couple of people, like stabbed like 100 people or something.
And the key is like when you look at it from an individualist perspective, it's like, okay, I don't want to coerce somebody. I don't want to infringe on their property rights when they haven't even committed a violent crime or anything. Like, I'm just saying they're guilty just because they like guns. What? That's so wrong. That's not right. That's pre-crime. I don't want to live in a society where you have this idea of pre-crime when this idea that you can like predict someone who could make like do crime when they haven't even committed any action. Mm-hmm. Being prosecuted should be based on actual crimes like that you actually committed with your hands and you did.
Right.
Not this, oh, okay, your risk profile denotes that you might, so you can't have guns.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
it's wrong.
It's something that has always plagued, I think, the American judicial system, which is the idea of politicians trying to preclude certain people from having access to all kinds of things, whether it's property rights or self-defense, under a collectivist mentality that they're just too dangerous to allow to have guns.
Like
you know what
cheap guns, right? Like Derringers,
right?
Like cheap
as
little...
in your video about the hidden history of gun control in America, right? Just talking about how the cheaper guns, in the 1800s had bans in certain states because they were trying to prevent newly freed African Americans from actually harming themselves after. They were literally like,
so what did they ban? The cheapest dirt
the
cheap
affordable
guns. And they said, it's dangerous, so you can't have these cheap guns. So that's what it was. But
and not cheap. They're not cheap in terms of like quality. They were like, they worked and fine.
No,
it's
but
just
it's like
more
compared
affordable
to
guns.
what?
It's just more affordable.
Yeah.
Than the Colts, like the really nice, revolvers.
Right. Exactly.
Right.
So it's like way more affordable. Just defend yourself.
Right.
Or just like having these licenses, needing to wait 3 months just to defend yourself. What if you moved into a sketchy hood or something because you don't have much money, and so you're gonna have to go to the lowest income place to live? You can't wait 3 months for a gun. Like, that's horrible.
Right.
To just tell somebody, no, sorry, you just got to go through the process. Are you gonna send me home with armed guards? No,
of course not.
No, see ya in 3 months. Hope you make it. Like, literally, that's what it is.
It is.
Oh, hey, Justin.
So, yeah, what's up, Justin? So he says, I love your new song, You and Jack Voice
you.
Liberty. Thank you. Appreciate the kind support. I hope to be a good voice. But he says, just out of curiosity, what do you say to the black pill, saying everything is lost and that people will never awaken? Well, I mean, to me, I look at the empiricism of reality, right? Now, there's different types of black pilling in this way. We could say, ultimately, like, what will be the outcome, right? That's a good question. That's tough to know for me personally, because with every escalation of people awakening, those in the state are equally and opposite enacting their violent controls. And actually, in my opinion, as someone who is a very incremental part of the cultural shift that happened between 2010 and 2020, I do believe that those who are in power have enacted this current regime of trying to, get all these passports and get people controlled because there was that level of awakening. And I think if you take a look at what has, happened, especially in the past few years, during, and I'm just using as a point of reference, during Trump's presidency toward the end, if you look at the, the cultural motifs and things that were happening, I mean, people around the world were literally protesting governments in mass.
Yeah.
People around
Hong
Kong,
before
right?
the national security law.
Huge.
Before they could say,
massive.
COVID, so we got to shut down. Can't have your protests anymore.
Yes.
There's COVID. Sorry,
Exactly.
you're super spreaders now.
Everybody knew Epstein didn't kill himself, right?
And they still have mass mandates now.
Right. Everybody knew Epstein didn't kill himself, right? This is a big thing. Everybody's like, oh, holy crap. There's elite people of all different types of institutions, in academia and politics and the like Hollywood, going on this plane, this Lolita plane to, the islands. Like, whoa, like it suddenly became
Epstein
like, let's
didn't kill
conspiracy
himself,
to, oh my gosh, that's real. And that was all shut down. Right. So, and that of course ties into what happened, in terms of,
they had to shift the public consciousness.
Right.
Then you had Black Lives Matter, shift the public consciousness again.
Right. So I think that, the evidence to me is that if you look at what's happening culturally, and I would highly recommend just looking at what Michael Malice is doing in his interactions with various alt media channels and things like that. I think following that's kind of like a good leading indicator. There is a wide awakening happening. And I would say, especially in America, there's over 50%, maybe 60% in terms of like just raw numbers, a number of people who are distrustful of the government, like outright, and who really want to have some individual liberty. I think that the media is overblowing the, I guess you could say, mania of people being like all fearful and like wanting to control and stuff like that. I think that's actually a distortion of reality. There is, of course, a bias in the institutions where a lot of opinions are held in terms of like Hollywood being bought or like academic stuff. But no, I mean, if you, especially once you get into the alt media channels and stuff like that, and just see how much that's grown and how much people have awakened to the censorship and the craziness, I would say you shouldn't be black pilled in the cultural awakening. The only black pill aspect might be just that those in the state are also seeing, oh, wow, they're really waking up. And so they're going to extreme lengths to try to shut people down. And that's what we're seeing all over the world, including, Australia and India, New Zealand, and places where it's like, something out of some dystopian fiction novel become reality.
Yep.
So, I think you shouldn't lose hope in that, but just recognize the fact that with every ounce of awakening that's happening, those in the state are trying to hold on to their last grasps of power.
Right.
And many of them are going to die, right? A lot of these people are old. Like, I'm just saying, like, you look at the number of people in Congress who are old.
Yeah, right. Most of them
they're holding on to the last little bits.
What, over 60?
Oh, I mean, 70s, 80s. If you look, Joe Biden to me is almost like a kind of like a symptomatic view of what's happening, which is that these people who, through technology and, of course, modern medicine, have been able to extend their lives long enough to keep their power going and are still of the old school mindset from the American eugenics movement in the 20th century, they are doing everything they can to leave their legacy and leave their power and control. But, their time's running out, right? So the question is, how much culture can we shift that by the time these people pass, that culture supersedes the tyranny that they tried to leave at the end of their lives. And that's what really you have to focus on.
We need it. We need it desperately. We need people to, as much as like there are no companies or even governments being like, all right, we're going to start a rape campaign. Like there's already things that culturally are totally frowned upon, but that took time, that took change. And so it's just we're that next group of people that are trying to push for total principled liberty and in all aspects, no exceptions, right? Taxation is theft, ending all of these monopolies and regulations on the market and realizing that they're all violations of private property rights. It requires a shift in culture, but it's possible. And so what I would say to that is, definitely similar to you, is just like, I don't know. Of course, I can't predict the future out of a crystal ball. So, in my first response is just like, I don't know. Like, I can't assert either way what's going to happen. But what I do know is minds can change. I know my mind changed. I've seen many, 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 many people change their minds. Like many libertarians be interviewed and they get asked, hey, what made you a libertarian, right? Every libertarian's got a story in a way, their own unique awakening story. So I know that. I know it's possible to change. And I know that people are changing. And I know that governments are freaking out. And they're purposefully trying to suppress things. I think the Chinese government freaked out when they saw how many millions of people in Hong Kong came out to protest. And they cracked down. And it's just sad to see, of course, Hong Kong just being so silenced now. But we are in this fight, depending where you are, right? The fight where you are is different. You're working with different power structures. You're working with different kinds of people, different geographies, different resources. So, it is different out there. And so it just depends, right? I also can't speak for you individually. But I would just say, like, I just choose not to say, like, it's going to all end. It's more just, okay, I'm going to focus on the things that I can control, which is I'm not going to wear a mask. I'm going to go see my mom. I'm going to, like see my friends and family. I'm going to give them hugs. I'm not going to be all scared. Like, I'm going to exercise, whatever, So yeah. Oh, thanks, Matt.
Can't
Super stare. I can see. I'm going to look that up.
Yeah.
Cheers. It's probably
I want to share just because it's something I agree with. I'm starving for words and actions of and for true freedom of not being spoken to as if we were dogs, Keith says here.
That's
yes, exactly. It is a paradigm shift in communication that's stemming from both mass media and the government, where you're just talked to as if you're just some Oh, nice.
Thanks for your sticker.
As if you're just some like animal or just some like pawn to be moved around and told what to do. Like, oh, okay, you stay in your house today. Oh, today you can come out for an hour.
Like you're an animal, poked and prodded, literally poked and prodded, moved from
like
here
you
to
should have no
there,
independent
carted
autonomy.
around.
Right. Like they own you, like as if you're just cattle and whatever they decide to do
Isn't
with
that
you.
stuff coming out of like the Great Reset or this idea that you will own nothing and you will be happy, like this kind of Orwellian view of
Absolutely.
how
I mean,
society
I
should be.
think that is a part and parcel of what the Great Reset is, which is paraphrasing. It's the idea that all the leading NGOs, multinational corporations, and governments collaborate to, you could say, change the property rights scheme of the world to where people no longer are able to own property independently, even in like the horrible, bastardized version with having property taxes, where it's like literally everyone is just a serf.
Yeah.
And you don't really own anything.
Yeah, all spaces are shared.
It's just all rented. It's all shared. There's no real true concept of individual ownership.
You can't leave your house.
And I literally want to kill those people.
The drones will deliver your food.
Like,
you're not going to have meat. Like meat becomes a privilege. I remember that.
Yeah.
That was actually part of the video I saw. And it was Russell Brand who covered it, actually.
And
like part of their like Great Reset video was just like, meat will be a privilege. It won't be a common thing. It won't be a staple. Like what? It's just all this. It's a very Malthusian view. I mean, if you saw the Marvel Endgame, like Avengers movie, you saw that view manifest in Thanos because he was, and you had some people who were like, Thanos is right, and there was like some memes and culture that came out of that of people being like, Thanos was right though. Oh my gosh, like literally getting these people just to think like, oh, he's so cool. He's big and strong and purple. He has all these affinities. Okay, he's kind of cool. But, he's Malthusian. Oh, okay. He saved everybody. And in the movie, they show him actually to be correct in the way they in the movie, right? He killed off half of the people. They disappeared. But some of the people are like, okay, there's kind of more space now. Oh, I can see the animals in the ocean now.
Right. Yeah.
Things are more clean now. And I was like, holy crap, this is insidious. This is, sure, he's Thanos and he's like, the enemy. And it's like it's explicitly stated, right? He's the enemy.
Right.
He killed families. That's wrong. It's explicitly stated. But what's implicit, what's implied is that Thanos was right. Because the way it happened was, okay, the water's clean now. The animals, they're free, like.
No, it's
we lost half your family.
No,
sorry, guys.
It's supposed to be an
and also
nothing
discourse, happened with the economy. It's not like there was like, okay, half the workforce is gone. There's not like massive chaos and like people like not knowing what to do, like knowledge gaps voided, because not like he selectively picked. I don't think he did that. I don't think Thanos was like, okay, I'm going to keep 10 engineers, I'm going to need like 10 software engineers, and like
he's like, I'm going to have
do that.
Just get rid of the redundancies. No,
he didn't do that. Exactly. Just like beep. So it's crazy. Like those are the kinds of people who own like big Hollywood productions. I mean, most of the Hollywood productions you see today, just because of how expensive it is to make a freaking movie or even a music video, a lot of it has some of the worst implied themes, that humans are a virus on this earth. Like I even saw Lil Dicky, he just like this YouTube rapper, like Jewish guy, had like really funny raps, and then he got pretty popular because he had one with Chris Brown. And then like I think he signed a record deal or something, and then the next song that came out was like, I love the earth, we got it. And I forgot, like it was just like, if you have to look at the lyrics,
piece,
right, you have to look at the lyrics. Like it's not just saying I love the earth. I forgot already, it's been a while, but I can tell you, like if you look at the lyrics, you can see that it was like specific things, just saying that,
a lot of it's naturalist nature worship, which again, it like there's nothing wrong with, of course, enjoying natural beauty
Right,
and all
right.
that good
I
stuff.
love nature. We're out in the water, as you saw.
It's what's the manipulative part of that is that they try to get people to believe that, oh, you'll just be magically happier if you just go back to basics and become
Yeah.
agrarian. And in reality,
And
what
if
they're
you
trying
don't
to
have
say,
much stuff, if
Right.
you don't have much of a carbon footprint,
Right.
don't have a nice mansion like Joe Biden does, like Bernie Sanders does. No, no, no. That's too high of a carbon footprint. You need a little shack that's
Right.
made out of wood, and all the bugs climb
it's
into
to
your
reduce
face
your power
when you're sleeping.
That's the idea. Is it
Back and just regressing to primitivism.
Mhm. Yeah, no, it's it's a very pointed psychological manipulation to try to get people comfortable with being in poverty in raw terms, because when you're leaving the benefits of technological advancement, you're going back to poverty, which is where you don't have the efficiencies that are gained by having the advantages of course, comparative advantage, having international trade, having, abundance that comes with growth, and of course, factories and things like that. So it's to get people to a poorer state. And because in the minds of these psychos, their ultimate goal is to have a population that is much easier to manipulate. I mean, right? That like they know that if you are less empowered in the resource and technology you have to be independent, and I'm not saying independent like, oh, you're independent of like the economy. I'm saying independent in terms of the resources you have are able to sustain yourself because you have an abundance, you have excess.
I think of someone like Kanye West.
Mhm.
He hosted for his new album Donda. He had like a crazy huge showing for his concert.
Right.
And like a bunch of cars around a makeshift house on top of a bunch of sand, in the middle of some place, and just holding like a huge concert with a bunch of cars. Like that's just showing off his wealth and his ability to he basically has his own fortress, in all the
Right.
land that he's bought. And I think that that's the kind of person they hate, because
Right.
it's just like, oh my gosh, someone is totally independent of us. How dare they?
Mhm.
How dare they find meaning and life and independence from our system? How dare they not feed us their money? Because they're like, a lot of these people just think others are scum, and they think they're not worthy of property. That's why they want to own it all.
Yeah. I mean, it's
They just think,
psychology.
okay, other people are not worthy. I should own all
elitism.
the. Yeah,
Right.
it's
like, oh, I've
psychology of
accomplished
elitism.
this height of social affluence, influence.
Right.
Therefore, I have the right to rule. It's my divine right, or
Yeah.
whatever illusory thing they come up with, and then everybody else is just expendable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what's kind of interesting, it's like almost a self-fulfilling prophecy, because a lot of them advocate for policies from a mindset of like, okay, there's a bunch of idiots out there, blah, blah, blah. I'm the only one that should have property. But a lot of their policies actually create idiocracy, So
Yeah.
it actually incentivizes, for example, not working, and just like, okay, I'm not going to work on myself. I'm just going to like, get a check from the state and just live that way and not care what the government's doing otherwise and how they got me my money. I don't care what wars they start or whatever. I'm just going to sit home, collect that check, and I'm going to be programmed by all of their media, all their movies, all their whatever, and yep.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, it's very intentional. The whole bit of it is it's not happenstance. Like this, even what we're seeing in terms of all this programming, in terms of what the governments of the world are coordinating their media campaigns to tell people what they should be doing, whether it's staying home or wearing a certain face gag. It's all a part of a very specific plan by a group of very connected people who have aligned interests. And these people, have specific names, but by and large, they relate to historically connected families who are in banking of sorts, or who are part of old aristocracy. So,
Wow.
nothing has ever changed in that regard.
Like the Queen of England and stuff.
Right. I mean, like, what I mean? Like,
the Catholic
they still
Church.
you're right. It's
Catholic
like people like,
Church.
oh, we have democracy. It's like they still have the queens. They still have the nobles. They still have the parliament, which parliament was the group of nobles who just banded together to try to get, the Magna Carta so they can have relative rights. And, that was a development of like some, Western philosophical thinking and stuff like that, whatever. But the actual root was still rooted in this type of like oligarchy collectivism, which was just their self-interest in trying to protect themselves. But they still exist, right? And they still have their claims to the taxpayers. And, the royal family still has all their holdings from all their ill-gotten gains of mass murder and theft. And when you think about that and you're like, really like envelop that idea, like, okay, this is actually still existing today in 2021. Like there's still a queen, a monarch, right? Like that's weird when you really think about that. Weird. Like, wait, what? There's someone who's still allowed
still getting taxes.
They still have their ill-gotten, tax gains and stuff. And basically it's complicated, but the short of it is they do effectively get taxpayer money through special privileges and like special funding. Like the parliament will like fund parades for them and stuff like that, and do like all kinds, like multi-million pound or sterling, whatever. It's crazy. But
oh look, Jesse's leaving. Oh, he says, love you guys. Man. You're awesome, but I'm an old man. Yeah. It was live on Liberty Doll for 1.5 hours.
Care, Jesse.
I laugh. I'll go. Awesome. Cool. Thanks, Jesse.
Good. Yeah.
Bye. Thanks
Liberty
for
Doll's
hanging out. Yeah.
Thanks, Jesse. Yeah, Liberty Doll has a good screen.
She's about to have her
man,
first child.
That baby, man.
I know.
So many people having babies too. 2020 had a lot of babies.
What else are you gonna do when you're at home?
All these people are like, oh, I'm home now. I guess I'll have a baby.
Yeah. I had to think of baby. Jack knows I thought of baby.
Oh yeah, I know. And also,
I know.
I thought of Asian wife.
Dude, how do you know I'm not white?
Right. Yeah.
Or Latin American or Canadian.
Right. Yeah. You're definitely.
It's like a race Canadian.
Yeah, French Canadian.
I'm French Canadian. How dare you? How dare you assume my race?
Thanks, Sarah. Appreciate it.
Oh, thanks, Aaron. Cheers.
I don't know what you donated to, but I appreciate whatever it was.
Oh, thanks.
I'm going to guess the campaign.
Oh.
Thank you.
Well, yeah. I really hope we can make the video. The song was really fun to shoot. It was the best. There's a quote at the end. You have an extra at your
I was like, what? Where'd my campaign go? Oh, wow. That's not little. Okay, thanks. Yeah.
Okay.
Yay.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Cheers to you.
Hey, yeah. I'll cheers to that, Aaron.
Wow. Is it almost? It is. It's 12 a.m. It's past.
It's
cheers
not
to that. We're almost at 2 hours. We've been hanging out for a while.
We're going to finish out 2 hours. I promised myself 2 hours, so I'm going to do 2 hours. Even though I'm way exhausted from today because we literally did just record the song
and we worked out.
We worked out and we did a bunch of stuff like, obviously setting up the promotion, setting up the campaign stuff. So it was still a very busy work day. But I mean, don't get me wrong. I love it. Like being able to actually, come up with hard hitting music or just fun stuff that like, it's goofy and it can be silly at times, but the lyrics and stuff, if you actually check the lyrics out and look at what it's saying, it's actually some real, stuff talking about what the government's doing. And someone who may not know about some things actually might get surprised in the process of hearing it. So, to the volunteers. Cheers to that.
Cheers, Aaron.
Double cheers to the volunteers. Yeah. Funny story. So I'm working on obviously the volunteers comic. That was a great campaign. But my colorist who actually had the Pfizer shot still got the Delta variant. And so he got taken out for 2 weeks. So he was doing some work for me and stuff like that. And he's like, I still got the Delta. And I'm having just
even though they got vaccinated.
Yeah, even though they got shot.
Oh, man.
Light flu symptoms. I'm like, oh great. Okay. I was like, of course, like I'm
Ay,
reasonable.
ay,
I'm like,
ay.
yeah, no worries. Take care of yourself. Go feel better, whatever. But I'm just like, it's just a crazy part of the real world experience, right? It just like, what's out there and people, they think it's gonna, stop something. And it's like, no, it's that thing mutates real fast. So unfortunately, people who thought that getting the shot was going to be like, oh, that's a cure-all magic bullet. No,
I know.
it only addresses the spike protein. It does not address the whole virus. And then, of course, it appears, at least, and I've seen enough credible sources for me to, put some weight behind it for myself and reading it and researching it, that it appears that shot actually pushes a mutation toward, having a faster escape variant experience. That is, that this just having the spike protein immunity pushes the virus to mutate faster to try to avoid just that one element. And it's, when you keep doing more experiments on people, you keep doing more shots, you're just increasing the probability that eventually there's going to be more successful, you could say, more gained function in spreading viruses that emerge in the process. So, I looked at that in the beginning. I wasn't sure. I was like, oh, is this going to actually happen? I don't know. But it seems to be actually materializing, and the evidence continues to point to that direction. So.
Did you know there's a live vaccine counter on Google? If you search up like vaccinations by country, it's a thing on Google. You know how Google has some like sometimes custom apps that they make. So this is one of them. And they show like, okay, highest or population of vaccinated people, and it's interesting to see the ones it's like less than 0.1%. Oh, okay. Thanks, Aaron. See ya. Cheers.
Yeah.
Hey, it's Zach Lakowski and Modern Renaissance Man. Zach's like, Modern Renaissance Man is an old man, but he's still here. That's what he's.
So someone asked, does that mean that the vaccines are making virus mutate faster? It appears so, because essentially it's giving more opportunity for mutation that is just as in respects to the spike protein element, because it's not the body's not responding to the entirety of the virus. So if you had the entirety of the virus, you'd have a more multifaceted immune response, because there's many different antibodies, T cells, lymphocytes and those things.
So all of those would come out if you had like an actual COVID infection. And so is that what you're saying? Like your immune system would actually be able to have a chance to fight off. And if you fight it off, you'll gain a different, more robust type of immunity than the mRNA vaccine, because
if you actually
it's training your immune system for one like aspect of COVID, but not the entirety of the COVID virus. Is that what you're saying?
Right. So since it's just one element of it and not the whole thing, the immune response is not as robust. And in the process, especially when you expect, have more and more people doing that means of getting immunity in that just more narrow direction, it offers more opportunity for a viral mutation to occur in that way.
Because like they're going to hosts that potentially aren't as strong, or immune systems aren't as able to like fight them off. You're like,
it's more so that the immune system's been biased toward one end, and then because viruses can mutate in the process, since it's mutating in the presence of one specific antibody that's S specific, that's spike protein specific, the virus might have a chance to mutate in a way that makes it stronger, because it's not killed off right away by a more robust immune response.
Yeah. Any case.
So
that's good to know. And it's, that's interesting if what's going on there, but we definitely are against the mandates. And that's really just the point that matters more than anything anyway. It's, you could argue effectiveness of stuff and of natural immunity versus the vaccine immunity and like all that you could. But ultimately, what we're talking about here and what matters is the very threats to our liberty, like people using COVID to say, okay, well, if you don't get the vaccine, you suddenly have to be a second-class citizen. That is insane. And that's what we're pushing against, is this idea that you can have this medical hierarchy system.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, obviously, all of it's going to need to be studied more because it's
Yeah.
so developing and so new.
And that's why I hate
I'm
the
just
censorship, because it needs to be talked about. Like these different experiments and treatments for COVID should be talked about, you know? People should be able to try treatments if they want with their doctor, like if they want, like, you know? And then you have more actual evidence out there of different things that you could try and to learn more. I mean, that's the whole process. Like this freedom of scientific discovery, it's been sorely missing in this whole like COVID scare, and deliberately so. It's been deliberately suppressed. Open scientific inquiry and discussion. It's insane. And they're regressing the medical community.
Yeah, I mean, well,
And
I
the
mean,
industry.
the big thing that is most problematic, and I've been trying to do my best to avoid, I don't know, any type of algorithmic censorship because I do have concerns. But
Yeah.
the big thing that is an issue is the suppression of any outpatient treatment. So basically, the suppression of ways to treat symptoms so you don't end up in the hospital in the first place. So,
Right. I
yeah.
remember that focus. It's
Mhm.
like, oh, you have COVID. Okay, come on to the hospital. Come on. And
Mhm.
actually, the only people that can come are those with COVID. Any other kinds of treatments, well, we're going to delay those. You know, there was a period in time in 2020 where that was the case.
Mm.
So you're just like funneling everyone with COVID into the hospitals, or in some places,
Every
like
time you
nursing
say that
homes.
word, I'll like get more anxious. 'Cause I'm like, I
What?
wonder what YouTube's algorithm is. Like, how many times you have to say it before it like gets triggered. I'm like,
That's the conditioning. That
Yeah.
itself is conditioning. The
It
algorithms,
is.
the fear, the using of certain people and banning them, and having their
Mhm.
whole livelihoods and channels of decades
It's scary.
destroyed, taken down, and
Well,
now they're
'cause
just silenced. They're
even Brett,
actually
right?
doing that as an example to get the other people who stay on the platform to self-censor.
Right.
And we've done it. You know, it bothers
Well, yeah, we
me.
saw something on the platform, but like,
Yeah, on the
but
bottom.
our way of working around it is by posting the stuff that we can't onto all
Right.
platforms, and then like using
Trying
coded
to get
language
around
so
it.
people
I get it.
get
Right.
to
They
it.
can't totally silence us in all the
Right.
ways, because we're not in a totalitarian place yet, at least
Mhm.
around where we are. We're
Right.
not in Australia or China right now. Like this is it. You know, we got to seize the chance. Like wherever you are, if it's dire, if it's truly dire, get out. I don't know. Fight or get out if you can. Like
Mhm.
fight or flee. And flee to greener pastures and connect with the libertarians there and try to change that culture more. Combine your strengths, do creative projects together, do something, hold up signs, protests, like just disobey together, go to a club and disobey together and stand up for each other, whatever it is. Like you can do it. Just find your community and just build it up. It's up to each and every one of us to create our own individual communities around us that are friendly to liberty. And I think we can do it, you know.
That's what we're trying to do.
Just one day at a time.
Trying to change the culture one day at a time, one music video at a time.
Yeah. Well,
So,
yeah. Thanks everyone
yeah.
for hanging out, and for everyone that supported the campaign. I think we'll just drop the links
Yeah, drop the
to
link
the
again real
two
quick.
campaigns that we have.
We'll do the pitch video, like release it on Monday, like the actual official one. But it was fun to just do the pre-release, play a song and stuff. So
Yeah, have some drinks. The way you said that, you're like so.
I know.
So
I'm so tired. It's been a long day, and I'm like, I'm just, you know, I'm trying to make it. I'm trying.
I was about to say what Jesse said about himself, but I didn't.
Oh, that's good.
Take this man to sleep.
Take this
man.
I'm barely holding now.
Yeah.
I'm so tired.
Yeah. Well, yeah, thanks everybody. And we'll definitely be doing more streams, and you'll see more from us, more videos. Should we mention about the next FA events of this year?
There's no next FA events.
Oh, it's not FA events, but the next event we're going to.
Tom Woods. Yeah, 2000. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So if you want to see us in person, if you're able to make it out, Tom Woods 2000th podcast. It's a big celebration. I met Zach Lakowski at the 1000th one. It was really fun. Yeah. And so if you can go to that, it's in October. It's in Orlando, Florida. So just go to tomwoods2000.com or faevents.com and it'll redirect you there. So yeah, that will be fun. I'm looking forward to that. And
Then after
crazy.
that, we'll be shooting the music video, because then the Disobey music video campaign ends in what, 60 days?
30.
Oh, 30 days.
30. Yeah.
So there you go. So we'll be shooting that.
Hopefully. It's got to hit
sometime
at
this
minimum
year.
3,000. I hope it does, but
Yeah,
I'm
I hope
trying.
it does too.
Otherwise, everybody gets refunded, and that's that.
Well, we'll be live streaming to try to push
We're gonna
it.
try. We're gonna try because I really want to make
push
that
it other
video.
ways. Yeah,
Really do.
definitely.
Yeah, especially considering Mask Order is like 100,000 views. I'm like, yeah,
Nah,
of course.
it's
like,
great.
yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Cool. All right. Well, everyone,
Thanks,
take
Josh.
care. I hope you guys have a good Friday night. Well, more Saturday morning for some, and have
Thanks,
a good
Travis.
weekend. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Travis.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Space
Space Ghost. Keith.
Thanks, Keith.
Josh, it was insomnia. Hope you get sleep, Josh.